Hey everyone! Welcome to Kids Hut Stories. Have you ever met someone who couldn't stop bragging about something they had? Well, today's story is about a bear who was so proud of his beautiful tail that he learned a big lesson the hard way. Let's dive in and find out.
Join Kids Hut Stories.
Once upon a time, Bear had a long, bushy, and beautiful tail. He was very proud of it and loved to show it off. He would swish it here and there, telling all the animals how shiny and splendid it was. "No one has a tail as fine as mine," Bear would boast. The other animals grew tired of his bragging, but Fox, who was clever and a little mischievous, decided to teach Bear a lesson. One cold winter day, Bear was walking by the frozen lake when he met Fox. Fox had a sly grin on his face and a bundle of fish in his arms. "Where did you get those fish, Fox?" asked Bear, licking his lips. Fox pretended to look surprised. "Oh, it's easy. I caught them through a hole in the ice. If you want some, I can show you how." Bear, who loved fish, eagerly agreed. Fox led him to the middle of the frozen lake and said, "Make a hole in the ice, then stick your beautiful tail into the water. The fish will bite, and you can pull them out. But you must be patient and keep your tail in the water for a long time." Bear did exactly as Fox said. He made a hole in the ice and dipped his tail into the icy water. "The longer you wait, the more fish you'll catch," Fox said before walking away, chuckling to himself. Bear sat there, dreaming of the delicious fish he would have for dinner. But as time passed, the water grew colder and colder, freezing around his tail. When Bear finally tried to pull his tail out, he couldn't move. The water had frozen solid, trapping his tail in the ice. Bear tugged and pulled with all his might until snap! His tail broke off, leaving just a short stump. Bear roared in pain and ran back to his cave, embarrassed and cold. Meanwhile, Fox laughed to himself, thinking Bear might finally stop bragging. From that day on, Bear had a short tail, and he never bragged about it again. The other animals learned something too: pride can make you fall for tricks. And Bear? He learned to be humble and kind, which made him even more loved than his tail ever did. Once upon a time on a sunny summer afternoon, a mother duck found a cozy spot under a tree near a pond to lay her eggs. She laid 5 eggs and waited for them to hatch. One egg was different from the others, and she worried about it. When the eggs started to hatch, the mother duck was overjoyed to see her little ducklings emerge, one by one. But the 5th egg took longer to hatch. "Oh, my darling babies! I'm so fortunate to be your mother. But I'm concerned about the last one," the duck said anxiously. "This egg is taking forever to hatch." She carefully sat on the egg, providing it with all the warmth and comfort it needed. "This one will surely be the most beautiful duckling of all, given how long it's taking to emerge," she thought to herself. Finally, the 5th egg cracked open, and a big, gray duckling came out. The mother duck was surprised and sad because the duckling was ugly and different from its siblings. She hoped that it would become like its brothers and sisters one day. But as the days passed, the duckling remained ugly, and its siblings made fun of it. The duckling was very sad and decided to leave its family and home. It went deep into the woods, where it struggled to find food and warmth. Winter came, and the duckling shivered with cold, feeling lonely and unwanted. The ugly duckling was turned away by his duck family, so he sought refuge in a hen's house. But the hen pecked and chased him away, making him feel even more unwanted. As he continued his lonely journey, he met a dog that didn't even notice him, which made him feel even more unloved. He then found shelter with a kind peasant, but even in that home, he faced trouble from a mean cat. Feeling unwelcome yet again, he decided to leave and continue his search for a place where he belonged. The duckling felt like it didn't belong anywhere. But when spring arrived, everything changed. The duckling saw a beautiful swan swimming in a river and fell in love. But it was ashamed of its appearance and hid behind a reed. Then, it saw its reflection in the water and realized it had transformed into a handsome young swan. The duckling finally understood that it was meant to be a swan, not a duck. It was different, but that was okay. It married the beautiful swan and lived happily ever after. This story teaches us that being different doesn't mean we're not special. Sometimes, we just need to find our true identity and belonging, and we'll find happiness.
Once upon a time in a sunny barnyard, there lived a little red hen. She was small but full of energy. One day while scratching around for food, she found some wheat seeds. These could grow into wheat and I could make delicious bread, she thought. But first, the seeds needed planting. The little red hen went to her friends, the lazy dog, the sleepy cat, and the noisy duck, and asked, "Who will help me plant these seeds?" "Not I," barked the dog. "Not I," meowed the cat. "Not I," quacked the duck. "Well, then I will do it myself," said the little red hen. And so she planted the seeds all alone. As the weeks passed, the wheat grew tall and golden. When it was ready to be harvested, the little red hen went to her friends again and asked, "Who will help me cut the wheat?" But once again the dog, the cat, and the duck all said, "Not I." So the little red hen harvested the wheat herself. Next, the wheat needed to be ground into flour. "Who will help me grind the wheat?" she asked. "Not I," said the dog, the cat, and the duck in unison. So she ground the wheat all by herself. It was hard work, but the little red hen didn't mind. Finally, it was time to bake the bread. She could already smell how delicious it would be. "Who will help me bake the bread?" she asked. "Not I," replied her lazy friends. The little red hen shrugged and said, "Then I will do it myself." She kneaded the dough, baked it in the oven, and soon enough, the warm smell of fresh bread filled the air. When the bread was done, the dog, the cat, and the duck came running. "Can we have some bread?" they asked. "No," said the little red hen. "You didn't help me plant, harvest, grind, or bake, so I will eat the bread." And she did, enjoying every last crumb. The lesson of the story is simple. Those who do not contribute to the work should not expect to share in the rewards.
Once upon a time, in a cozy little cottage, there lived a little old woman and her husband. One day, the little old woman had a wonderful idea. "I'll bake a gingerbread man," she said. She mixed the flour, sugar, butter, and ginger in a big bowl. Then, she rolled out the dough and carefully cut it into the shape of a little man. She gave him raisins for eyes, a little cinnamon candy for a nose, and a row of shiny currants for buttons. She put him in the oven to bake. As the gingerbread man baked, the whole kitchen filled with a wonderful, sweet smell. As she opened the oven door, the gingerbread man jumped out and ran towards the door. "Stop!" shouted the little old woman. "You're not ready yet." But the gingerbread man just laughed and shouted back, "Run, run, as fast as you can. You can't catch me, I'm the gingerbread man." The little old woman and the little old man chased after him as fast as they could, but the gingerbread man was too quick for them. He ran and ran until he met a cow grazing in a field. "Stop, little man," mooed the cow. "You look delicious. I want to eat you." But the gingerbread man just laughed and ran faster. "You can't catch me, I'm the gingerbread man." The cow joined the chase, but the gingerbread man was much too fast. He continued running and soon met a horse trotting along the road. "Stop, little man," neighed the horse. "You look so tasty. I want to eat you." But the gingerbread man just laughed again and ran even faster. "You can't catch me, I'm the gingerbread man." The horse joined the chase, but the gingerbread man was still too fast. He ran and ran until he met a pig rolling in the mud. "Stop, little man," oinked the pig. "You look scrumptious. I want to eat you." But the gingerbread man just laughed and ran even faster. "You can't catch me, I'm the gingerbread man." The pig joined the chase, but the gingerbread man was far too fast. He ran and ran until he reached a wide river. He needed to cross it, but he didn't know how. Just then, a sly fox appeared. "Hello, little gingerbread man," said the fox with a sly smile. "I can help you cross the river. Just jump over my back and I'll carry you across." The gingerbread man found no other way. "Okay," he said, and he jumped onto the fox's back. When they were halfway across, the fox said, "You're too heavy for my back. Jump onto my head." The gingerbread man carefully moved to the fox's head. Just as they reached the other side of the river, the fox flipped the gingerbread man into the air and caught him in his mouth. And that was the end of the gingerbread man. And so, the story of the gingerbread man reminds us all to be careful and think before we act.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Kids Hut Stories. Today, we're building some houses and blowing them down as we're diving into the classic tale of the three little pigs and the big bad wolf. Will these piggies be able to outsmart the wolf with their quick builds, or will they learn a lesson about taking shortcuts? Let's see.
Once upon a time, three little pigs lived with their mother in a cozy house. One day, their mother said, "It's time for you to go out into the world and start your own lives. Remember to always do your best, no matter what you do. That's the key to staying safe and happy." Excited and a little sad, the three pigs hugged their mom and set off on their adventure. They soon found a nice piece of land where they could each build their own home. The youngest pig decided to build his house out of straw because it was quick and easy. He finished his house in just one day and proudly called to his brothers, "Look, I'm done." The eldest pig inspected the house and said, "This doesn't look very strong. How will you keep the wolf out?" The youngest pig replied, "Don't worry, nothing will happen." The middle pig chose to build his house out of wood, gathering branches from the forest. It took him 3 days to finish. His house was sturdier than the straw house, but the eldest pig still had concerns. "Is this house strong enough to keep the wolf out?" he asked. The middle pig assured him, "It will be fine. Don't worry." While the younger pigs relaxed in their new homes, the eldest pig worked hard building his house out of bricks and stones. He spent a whole week on it, making sure it was strong and safe. One day, a hungry wolf came by. He approached the straw house first. The little pig inside was resting when the wolf knocked and said, "Let me in, or I'll huff and puff and blow your house down." The pig refused, so the wolf huffed and puffed and blew the house down. The frightened pig ran to his brother's wooden house for safety. The wolf followed and shouted at the wooden house, "Let me in, or I'll huff and puff and blow your house down." The middle pig confidently replied, "You can't blow my house down." But the wolf huffed and puffed and blew the wooden house down too. Both pigs ran to the eldest brother's brick house, barely escaping the wolf. At the brick house, the wolf yelled, "Let me in, or I'll huff and puff and blow your house down." The eldest pig calmly responded, "You can't blow this house down." The wolf huffed and puffed with all his might, but the brick house stood strong. Frustrated, the wolf decided to climb down the chimney. But the eldest pig quickly lit a fire in the fireplace and put a pot of boiling water on top. As the wolf slid down the chimney, he fell right into the boiling pot. Ouch! I'm burning! Help, he cried, and he quickly ran away, never to be seen again. The three pigs hugged each other, relieved and happy. The next day, they visited their mother to tell her what had happened. The youngest pig said, "You were right, Mommy. Doing our best really paid off." From that day on, the two younger pigs worked hard like their big brother, and they all lived happily ever after.
Hey kids, what did you learn? Remember, just like the pigs, always do your best, no matter what you're building or facing in life. Only strong foundation and proper planning pays off in the end. Hey everyone, welcome back to another storytime adventure with Kids Hut Stories. Today, we're diving deep into the woods to meet a curious girl named Goldilocks and her mysterious encounter with few grumpy bears. Are you ready? So, let's jump in.
Once upon a time there lived a girl named Goldilocks. She lived with her parents in a village near a lush green forest. One day Goldilocks was playing outside her home, when she saw a rabbit with golden hair. She tried to catch it, but the rabbit started to run. Goldilocks chased it right down the path and went into the forest. "Whoa! Where am I?" said Goldilocks. She was lost in the jungle and tried to find her way back to home. But then, she saw a small house in the middle of the woods. "I'm sure whoever lives here will help me find my way back," said Goldilocks. She knocked on the door, but no one came outside. She knocked the door again and it swung open. There was no one at home. Goldilocks started to walk away, but then she sensed a delicious smell and her tummy rumbled loud. She went inside the house and saw 3 bowls of porridge on a table. There were 3 bowls of porridge. 1 large bowl, 1 medium bowl and 1 small bowl. Goldilocks was very hungry, so she said to herself, "I am sure, whoever lives here won't mind, if I eat some porridge." She took a spoonful of porridge from the large bowl. "Oh my! This porridge is too hot, it burnt my tongue," said the Goldilocks. Then she tried another spoonful from the medium bowl. This porridge is very cold." Lastly, she tried a spoonful of porridge from the small bowl. "This porridge is just perfect." The porridge in the small bowl was so delicious that she ate it all up. As she had been running, Goldilocks felt very tired. So, she decided to take some rest while there was no one at home. She went into the living room and found 3 chairs. One was a big blue chair, one was a medium wooden chair, and one was a small yellow chair. First, Goldilocks sat in the big blue chair. "Oh my! This chair is too big and not comfortable at all," said the Goldilocks. So, she sat in the medium wooden chair. "This chair is also too big," she said. Then, she sat in the last small chair. "This chair is just right," she exclaimed in a joy. However, as she sat in the small chair, it cracked into pieces with a loud noise. "Oh my! What did I do?" She thought for a while and said, "I'm sure, whoever lives here won't mind if I take a short nap." So, she went into the bedroom. There she found 3 beds. A big bed, a medium one and a small bed. She laid down in the first bed and said, "This one's too hard for me." Then she laid down in the second medium bed. "Oh! This one's too soft for me." Then she laid down in the small bed. Oh wow! This bed is just perfect. She pulled up the blanket and soon fell asleep. At the same time, a family of 3 bears came home to their little house. They were very surprised to see that the front door was already opened. "It looks like someone has been eating my porridge," said Papa Bear, as he looked into his large bowl. "It looks like someone has been eating my porridge too," said Mama Bear, as she looked into her medium bowl. "Someone has definitely been eating my porridge and it's all gone," cried the baby bear, as he looked into his empty small bowl. The 3 bears went into the living room to find out who ate their porridge. "I think someone has been sitting in my chair," said Papa Bear. "I think someone has been sitting in my chair too," said Mama Bear. "Someone has definitely been sitting in my chair," cried Baby Bear, and they broke it to pieces. Then, the 3 bears went inside the bedroom to find out who had been sitting in their chairs. "Someone has been sleeping in my bed," said Papa Bear. "Someone has been sleeping in my bed too," said Mama Bear. "Someone has definitely been sleeping in my bed," cried Baby Bear, "and she's still here." The 3 bears roared, waking Goldilocks abruptly. Seeing the 3 angry bears, she jumped out of the bed and ran out the front door. Goldilocks ran until she was out of the woods and back home. From that day on, she never returned to the forest, and the 3 bears never saw Goldilocks again.
Wow, that was a close call for Goldilocks. Remember, it's always best to ask permission before borrowing someone's things, even if they're not home.
Once upon a time, in a lush African savanna, there lived a little rabbit named Tammy. She was small, with soft brown fur that shone in the sunlight. Though she wasn't the biggest animal in the savanna, she had a heart full of kindness and wisdom. Tammy lived near the great baobab tree, the tallest and oldest tree in the savanna. Animals from all over would visit it, seeking its wise advice. One hot afternoon, while munching near the tree, Tammy noticed something strange. The mighty baobab tree, which was usually strong and proud, looked sad. Its leaves were turning brown, and its branches drooped sadly. Tammy's heart filled with worry. Tammy hopped over to the tree and gently asked, "Great baobab, why do you look so sad?" The baobab tree sighed deeply. "I am old and thirsty, little one. The rains have not come, and I fear I will not survive much longer without water." Tammy felt a deep sadness for the tree. It had always been there to offer wisdom to everyone. "Don't worry, great baobab," Tammy said boldly. "I will find you water, no matter how far I have to go." Despite her small size, Tammy was determined to help her friend. Tammy set off across the savanna, asking every animal she met if they knew where she could find water. First, she asked the elephants. But they had already used up their water for the day. Next, she asked the gazelles. They only knew of tiny puddles, not nearly enough to help the baobab tree. Tammy felt a little discouraged, but she didn't give up. Just then, Tammy met Kibbo, the wise old tortoise. Kibbo had traveled far and wide and knew many secrets of the land. "Kibbo, do you know where I can find water for the baobab tree?" Tammy asked. Kibbo smiled kindly at her. "Yes, little one, but the journey will be hard. You must travel to the mountains where a magical spring flows beneath a rock shaped like a lion. Just a little water from that spring can quench a mighty thirst." Tammy thanked Kibbo and set off towards the mountains, ready for her long adventure. The journey was difficult. Tammy climbed steep hills, crossed dry riverbeds, and braved the hot sun. She was tired, but she never gave up. After many days of travel, Tammy finally reached the mountains. There, she found the rock shaped like a lion. Beneath it, a sparkling spring flowed, clear and cool. Tammy filled her small pouch with as much water as she could carry and began the long journey back home. When Tammy finally returned to the baobab tree, she was exhausted, but she smiled. She poured the water onto the tree's roots, and as the baobab tree drank, it sighed with relief. "Thank you, brave Tammy," it said. "You have saved me." Tammy watched as the tree's leaves turned green again and its branches lifted high into the sky. The animals of the savannah gathered around, cheering for her. The baobab tree, in gratitude, shared its wisdom with Tammy. From that day on, she became known as the wisest creature in the forest. Tammy was a hero, not because of her size or strength, but because of her courage, kindness, and determination to help a friend in need. Once upon a time, in a quiet little village, there lived a small, curious mouse named Miko. Miko loved to explore, especially when he was hungry, which was almost all the time. One sunny afternoon, as Miko was scampering through the fields, he found a big basket filled with golden corn. His tiny nose twitched with excitement. "What a feast," he squeaked. The basket had a small hole in it, just big enough for Miko to squeeze through. With a wiggle and a push, Miko slipped inside. "This is paradise," he whispered, nibbling on one juicy kernel after another. Miko ate and ate until his belly was round and full. When he decided to leave, he crawled back to the hole. But oh no! He was stuck. He had eaten so much that his chubby tummy wouldn't fit through the tiny hole. "Help! I'm trapped," cried Miko, pushing and pulling, but it was no use. He sighed and slumped down on the soft bed of corn. Just then, a rabbit named Ruby hopped by and heard Miko's cries. "What's wrong, Miko?" she asked, peeking into the basket. "I can't get out. I've eaten too much corn," Miko said sadly. Ruby chuckled gently. "Don't worry, Miko. Stay calm. You just need to wait a while. Once your tummy goes back to its normal size, you'll fit through the hole again." Miko nodded, though he was still worried. As the day turned to night, Miko waited. It was hard not to nibble on more corn, but Ruby's words kept him strong. "Be patient," he told himself. Finally, after a long wait, his tummy wasn't so round anymore. He tried the hole again, and this time, he slid through easily. "Hooray!" he cheered. "Thank you, Ruby," Miko said, hugging his friend. "I learned an important lesson today: don't be too greedy and always be patient." Ruby smiled. "That's right, Miko. Now you're wiser and just as brave as before." From that day on, Miko always remembered to eat just enough and not too much, and he never got stuck again. Once upon a time, in a quiet little village, there lived an old donkey. He had worked for his master for many years, carrying sacks, pulling carts, and helping with farm chores. But now, the donkey had grown tired and slow. His master didn't need him anymore. One day, the donkey overheard his master saying, "This donkey is too old. I don't want to feed him anymore." That scared the poor donkey. "If I stay, I'll be in trouble," he thought. So, he trotted off down the road, ears flopping, tail swishing. "But I'm not useless," he said to himself. "I'll go to Bremen and become a town musician. I'll bray songs and people will cheer." As he trotted along the road, he met a sad old dog lying under a tree. "Why so glum, friend?" asked the donkey. "I'm too old to hunt," sighed the dog. "My master wants to get rid of me." "Well then," said the donkey, "come with me to Bremen. We'll be musicians. You can bark the beat, and I'll sing the melody." The dog's eyes lit up. Bremen? Sounds better than staying here. So off they went, down the dusty road. Soon, they met a skinny old cat sitting on a fence, looking gloomy. "What's wrong, kitty?" asked the donkey. "I'm too old to chase mice," said the cat. "They say I'm no good anymore." "Then come with us to Bremen," barked the dog. "You can sing along, meow in harmony." The cat's whiskers twitched. "Why not? I've never been to Bremen." Now the trio marched on, laughing and dreaming of songs they'd sing. Later, they heard a strange noise coming from a nearby farm. It was a rooster crowing with all his might. "You seem excited," said the donkey. "Not really," said the rooster. "Tomorrow, they plan to cook me for soup." "Soup?" cried the cat. "You'd better come with us," said the dog. "Bremen needs a singing rooster." "Me? A singer?" The rooster flapped his wings. "Yes. Let's go." Now the band was complete, donkey, dog, cat, and rooster, marching to Bremen with joy in their hearts. As night fell, they grew tired and hungry. They spotted a light in the woods. "A house," said the rooster, flying up to a tree. "There are people inside," he said. "But they look scary, like robbers." "Robbers?" whispered the donkey. "I have an idea," said the dog, and they all huddled together. They climbed on each other's backs, donkey on bottom, and rooster on top. 1, 2, 3, they burst through the window shouting, wildly, loudly, chaotically, recklessly. The robbers screamed in fright and ran into the woods, thinking a monster had attacked. The animals laughed and danced around the room. "We did it." They ate warm soup, sat by the fire, and made music late into the night. They never made it to Bremen, because they liked their new home just fine. Even if you're old or cast aside, you can still do great things, especially with good friends by your side.
Hey everyone, welcome to our channel. Today, we're going on an incredible adventure, one where we shrink down to the size of an ant. Get ready for a whole new perspective on the tiny world. A young girl, Maya was always curious about the tiny world around her. One sunny afternoon, while exploring the garden, she stumbled upon a strange glowing flower. Maya reaches out and touches the flower. A puff of light engulfs her, and she magically shrinks. Whoa! She is now shrinked to the size of an ant. Maya, in her tiny, surprised voice said, "Whoa! What just happened?" The magical flower had shrunk Maya down to the size of a ladybug. Now, the world looked completely different to Maya. She was very shocked and surprised, but also excited for this new adventurous endeavor. Tall grass blades reached up like skyscrapers, and dewdrops glistened like swimming pools. Maya cautiously explores the garden, encountering various insects and mystical creatures. A ladybug zoomed by, its wings a blur to Maya. A grumpy beetle lumbered past, pushing a giant crumb 10 times its size. Maya knew she had to find a way back to normal size, but first, she had an adventure to explore. Maya encounters a colony of ants. She tried to communicate with ants through gestures as she needs their help to find the mystical flower. The colony of ants was busy carrying leaves twice their size. Maya tried to find the queen of the ants and met her with a bit of gesturing, since talking was difficult. Maya managed to explain her predicament. The ants, impressed by her bravery, decided to help Maya. The ant queen ordered a fleet of her ants to carry Maya towards a dangerous and challenging portion of the garden, where the so-called mystical flower could be found. The ants carry Maya on a leaf through the garden. They dodge many dangers on their way to safely reach the destination. It was a really bumpy and scary route. Their journey was full of challenges. They narrowly avoided a gushing sprinkler that seemed like a raging waterfall to Maya. As they moved ahead, soon a curious robin swooped down, mistaking them for a giant snack. It was a close call. However, the brave ants and Maya worked together, using their combined strength and wit to overcome the attack of the robin. They tackled all the challenges with great valor and boldness. Then finally, they reached that part of the garden where the mystical, majestical, and powerful flower could be found. Maya and the ants were very thrilled to see the flower shining in front of them. Maya rushed to touch the flower again. As she touched the flower, the majestical light engulfed the garden and mysteriously Maya started to grow back to her normal size. Maya said excitedly, "Wow, what an adventure! The garden seems even more amazing now." Maya bids farewell to her newly found little ant friends. Maya's adventure taught her that even the smallest creatures have big adventures. The world is full of wonder, waiting to be explored if you just look closely enough. So, what did you think? Would you like to shrink down and explore your own backyard? Maybe you'd discover a whole new world hidden right beneath your feet. I hope you enjoyed the story. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more fun and adventurous stories. Let us know in the comments below what kind of adventure you'd like to see next.